Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Transitions for More. I'm your host, Mike Urko, Marine Corps veteran. I've returned from Iraq and faced the challenges of PTSD, addiction, and grief to create a new life that is balanced and healthy in mind, body, and spirit. Each episode, I'll share some of my journey or interview inspiring veterans and subject matter experts to help us find that purpose and connection we all crave. You guys can follow the show on Instagram at Transitions for More. Join our TFW page on Facebook, Twitter, and transitionsformore.com. If you have any questions, comments, or topic ideas, feel free to email me at mike@transitionsformore.com. If you guys enjoy the show, please leave us a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Without any more dilly-dally, let's get to the interview. And we're back. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm just, living. Gotta stop trying to use melatonin to sleep, because I swear I could drink a bottle of whiskey and then feel better than taking like a little bit too much melatonin to try to sleep.
It's a little rough.
Yeah. The next day you're just like,
I never really had much experience taking melatonin. I've taken, what is it? Doc Parsley's sleep remedy. I think that has a little melatonin in it, actually. So maybe I have. Take that back. But
they have this one that's like a spray under the tongue, and you're just never sure if you got the full one. So you're like,
yeah, you get a few sprays in there.
Yeah, you're taking like 4 times the, the allotted amount, and then the next morning you're like, what?
Well, I'm not a scientist, but I may have discovered your problem.
Yeah.
That sounds like how I do recipes, bro. I just it seems like we need a little more of this, and just like pour more of that shit in.
Especially if it's like sugar or butter, you're just like, add more. Can't get
it. You're like, I think they're kidding with this. We got to add more.
Exactly. Yeah. So how's life, man? It's been a little bit.
It's been a little bit, man. It's been a little bit. I've done a couple races since we talked last. Yeah, I've been. Well,
it makes one of us. That makes one of us.
My training's been, coming and going, dude. That's the best I can say about everything. And I'll tell you what, the weight has not been going. It has been coming. So as we said before, Semper Pi, brother.
Semper Pi. Dude, I don't know why, but that actually makes me feel a little bit better about myself.
I'm glad.
Because I tweaked my hip flexor, and then, it got to a point where and actually I haven't been to the doctor because I'm so doctor phobic. And during this pandemic, I don't know, I tried not to do anything unless I absolutely have to do it. So I have not been in to get looked at. And I don't know if it's just being a fat piece of crap. You know how sometimes when you sit around too much, it could be that your lower back and hip flexor are locking up at the same time.
You have a fear
you're on the couch for 22 hours a day. Yeah. I'm afraid, it's like Schrodinger's cat, but health issues, they can't tell you have type 2 diabetes until they do that blood test.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm not diabetic until my, what is it? A1C is at 7.5 or whatever the hell. I think that's diabetic.
You just don't want to go in and hear them say, yes, you are having too much food. You stop now.
Exactly. And it's so much worse when it's like a Russian woman and she's just like, you listen here, American.
Yeah.
I can have my wife tell me I'm fat. I don't need her to do that.
I don't need to pay to tell someone to tell me I'm fat. I get that for free.
Exactly. Have you ever heard of eating a salad? Yes, I have, actually. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But yeah, so there's that. I guess we're in a new apartment now, which is cool.
Nice.
So, something built in the last 50 years. It's actually built in the last 3, but it's such a large improvement over what we were living in. So that's nice.
Yes. Not something that Stalin's comrades had built back in the day.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what was messed up, dude? Like the thing that threw me over the edge to just be like, you know what, screw it. I don't care about getting like cheap rent. Was I went to throw down, like I was throwing out the trash, and we had, it's like an apartment trash. You kind of everyone throws it out there, and uh, on the landing, it's like stairs, and there's four different stairwells to all these
Yeah.
apartments. That's how it's the standard Soviet building setup. And on the first floor landing, as I was going outside, there was a used heroin needle.
Nice. Those are
Yeah,
fun to find around, especially when you have kids.
exactly. I was like, what the hell? And then it turned out, and I only know this because my wife would talk to, oh, and I got married, by the way, since we talked last. And oh,
Congratulations.
thanks, man. Thanks. But yeah, so my wife would talk to this lady on the first floor who was Russian, who like owned a apartment there, and was talking to this lady who was kind of like the property manager. And when she told her, like, hey, because this chick who was on the first floor has like two or three kids. And she was like, yeah, we found a heroin needle. And the lady's response was like, well, yeah, I find them all around. I've been finding them all around for like the last year. And like some person just like ducks in and shoots up like where we've been living. And I was just like, yeah, no, we're out of here. And we were gone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like screw that, man. It's not. I don't live in Oakland for a reason.
Yeah. Dude. Well,
Or the Tenderloin.
but yeah, exactly. That's rough there, man. Well, congratulations on getting married, or should I say na
Thank you.
zdrowie?
Спасибо большое. Yeah, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. So how have you been? So you've been training, ran a couple of races. When is Kona coming up? Or is it still going with all this Delta variant stuff going, or what?
It got pushed back from October, when it usually is, to February. So this race has now been pushed back officially a year and a half.
Oh,
So
wow.
we'll see. We will see. Yeah, the state of Hawaii is not too happy about their situation. They have like 3 beds total, ICU beds total in the state.
Oh, wow.
So, or at least, no, excuse me, on the Big Island. Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe I was being a little over dramatic, but it's not good. Not made for international tourists.
Right. Especially not like a mass influx of people for, it would
Yeah.
be like Vegas holding like one of those tech conferences and the porn awards on the same
Oh, that's right.
same
Yeah.
weekend. Like it's like software development conference and the porn awards. Yay.
Yeah,
Get everybody
exactly.
on. I think that's how it actually went down, but I don't know during COVID if that's what they did. But
Right. Or if they
yeah,
just did
dude,
it virtual.
yeah. That would just be no big change in how things are done.
Exactly.
This is a standard operating procedure. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like I would like to go back home for Christmas at least, but I don't know if we're gonna do it because it's just
Yeah.
the way things are right now. It's so out there that like I should say there's a lot of uncertainty, right? Like I don't know if we should go. Like I'm vaccinated. Elena's got her first dose. Uh, but like our kid, he's about to turn 1 in a month.
Yeah. No
So what do
vaccination
you do
there.
with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
there's still
exactly.
only 12 and above here. So
Yeah.
I heard that they're going to start vaccinating people. I mean, and then how much protection does the vaccination have?
I
Really,
don't know,
right now?
bro. All I know is that when back in the days when we were in, I got so many fucking vaccinations that I didn't even know what they were for. I just said, okay, what's another one? And does it work on something? I have no idea,
All
but I
right.
just stand in line and get it.
There was one vaccination I ever turned down, and that was anthrax. And that's because it was like '06. It's like no one's launching anthrax, dude. No one. So I didn't take that one. And thank God.
Yeah, I got that one. I got the first 2 of those. I think I forget how many parts it was, but I got the first 2, and then they just stopped giving it. But
You don't need to finish this one, buddy.
yeah,
We shouldn't have given you the first 2.
yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, now go burn this pile of shit. Fuck. So yeah, lots going on in the world.
No shit, man. Like I guess we get right into it. What the fucking train wreck is going on in Afghanistan, man? That is That is a serious, serious fucking tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching that unfold, and man, like last week we saw, or earlier this week, last week, we saw what 13 service members killed and like 60 something Afghans, hundreds more wounded. Oh man, it's hard to watch, dude. I think the worst part for me is just like when my friends are deployed and I had gotten out, nothing I can fucking do about it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like you see, well, for me, I guess it was a little different. I wasn't out, but I was like in Boost and then at, college for the MISA program. And you see people going back and it's like the second or third time. And you're just like, shit, man, like can't do anything about it. And then, I don't know. I mean, Iraq was like a different thing because we had to watch it fall, but this was like
overnight
for me at least. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but when Iraq did it, it was after we had kind of been out, or at least military presidents had been out for a little bit, and then, I mean, I was out already by that time, and you'd been out for a while by that time, I think, and this was, I mean, it has more of a ring of dereliction of duty about it. Like this seemed very much like Saigon being evacuated, like that kind of
exactly
thing, and interpreters like being left over there. I can tell a lot of people are hurting, like just from the people that I keep in touch with.
Yeah.
There's, you can always tell when things get real, it's when like the irony filter goes away and people start taking everything seriously.
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Seriously. Like, I mean, it's different when you're in person. I'm sure you guys talked shit to each other when you were, shooting at insurgents or whatever. You're getting rocketed and talking shit at each other, right?
Oh, I love it. Like, oh, I'm scared. I'm getting rocketed. And
then, yeah, this is like, I mean, that's different, but it's like because you're like in person and you actually can understand that. What is it like? Spoken word or like the content of what you say is something like 10% or less of what actually matters.
Right. Exactly.
So that's why
body posture, all that shit.
Exactly. And on Facebook, people don't have any of that. So there was one of these young Marines who was like, I just want to call this out, because when I was like an 18-year-old kid in the Marines, like I thought I was like Billy Badass, thought I could like knock out a 250-pound dude when I was like, 10 belt ninja straight out of boot camp. Like I was there, I was been there. But looking at the pictures of these guys and girls, men and women who have died from this, like I don't remember looking that young. I know I did. There are pictures around. There's proof, but like one of my friends who's like I think she's a master sergeant now was like, dude, they were just babies. And I was like, she's right. It seems like, and it's, I guess we're all just getting fucking old, but you got that. And then, so there was this picture up and you could tell this guy who was complaining was in a dark place, but he posted it to this like Signals Intel kind of Facebook group. And it was like, it was a picture of one of the guys who had gotten killed in the, is it ISIS-Z bombing? Like the,
ISIS-K.
ISIS-K. There we go. Like, so one of the guys had been killed and there was this picture of him and this guy was posting it in memoriam and he's like, oh man, this guy's so young. It sucks that he died. And in the picture, the dude had his hands in his pockets, you know? And some army guy went on there and he was like, and that's why you shouldn't put your hands in your pockets, devil dog.
Oh man.
Instead of this guy just like in normal times, you would be like, okay, I get this is a joke, you know? But it was pretty apparent to me reading the exchange. And here, this guy was on here like bitching. And all of course, the Marines are like backing him up. They're like, yeah, dude, that's so messed up. But you all know that, come on. You know that you would be saying kind of the same shit like to your buddy. But like really the truth was it was just like probably people shouldn't Facebook and drink. And also realize that, you know, you're on the same side of this, really.
Dude,
you know,
I was trying to think of why this is hitting so hard because this has really fucked me up. And I'll just say this, like I appreciate everyone who's reached out to me and, asked, volunteered or offered to talk and stuff. And I'm doing all right. So I appreciate it from everyone, but I'm doing all right. Um, but I was trying to put together why this is hitting so hard for so many people. And the best I can put together is, one, it's something that happened all at once,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So that happened, and largest, American loss of life in like a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I think we're all watching. We're all like, it's internationally, we're all watching this withdrawal happen. So the more attention is being paid to it,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
there's not anything else you're actually doing other, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the
Exactly.
pandemic puts you in a situation where it's like you're cut off from what would be your normal support groups, even if you're talking that's just employers. I
Yep.
don't know, man. We went to a spa with work this week and I got hammered like repeatedly.
Yeah.
Uh and spread the word, the gospel of the US military industrial complex to all these people who really didn't give a shit. But I always felt like, man, I'm that guy who's like, oh yeah, how long you been? When did you leave Iraq? Over 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about it. Like, really, buddy? I never wanted to be that dude when I joined, like I had an uncle who was a Vietnam vet. I was like, I'm not going to allow this service in the Marine Corps to define my life. And here I am. I'm almost fucking 40 now. So like, remember boot camp?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember Iraq? And it's like, fuck, man. And then when stuff like this hits me, I still feel like, well, I look at it as that, like I should have done something else with my life by now, but I haven't. And I don't know. I feel for all the guys who were recently there,
Yeah.
and the Taliban's no fucking joke, dude. I know of a guy who he got kind of the equivalent of doxxed by the
Yeah.
Taliban,
Wow. That's
where
scary.
they gave his kind of information and everything, and I think he was like an F-18 pilot, or I want to say it was F-18. It was earlier in the war before the was it that F-35 or whatever would have been put
I would have
into.
been creeped out if that had happened to me, man. I can't imagine that.
I think he had to like basically change his name, leave
Yeah, you
leave
gotta move.
Afghanistan, move his wife and family. The Marine Corps retired him. He was a major. He didn't have 20 yet.
Yeah.
And they just said, you're retired now. And then like it was almost like witness protection type shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was a good dude though. He was a really good dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a trip, dude. But in general, I feel bad for everybody who's deployed to Afghanistan, like watching this unfold, and just, I know a lot of people are questioning their service, whether it made any difference or not, or what was the point, and all those really existential questions. And
I mean, Ronald Reagan told us, right, that that was Ronald Reagan, wasn't it? Who said that? Like,
some people spend their entire lives wondering if they made a difference.
Marines don't have that problem,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those questions, not only because of like, like for you had a different wartime experience than me did, than me did. That's what happens when you speak with non-native English speakers all your life. Than I did. But like for me, it was, I think we'll call it like more like moral injury issues.
Yeah.
Because I was like a little poke Boy Scout before I joined, and then whatever, just stupid shit. And then so I dealt with that not only like when ISIS kind of did their tromp across Iraq, but also like just getting back from the war. And then like there were a couple of Cal vets who committed suicide in like a short amount of time.
Yep.
You were there during that time. Like that was a rough period, man. And so like I feel for all of these people, for all the folks who got back from Afghanistan and they're questioning, but I think there's something to be said that like they did what they were supposed to do.
Oh, exactly, dude. I mean, you look at the mission in Afghanistan was the first, like expressly to get Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda, and then it shifted just like the mission in Iraq shifted. And, you know, I'm not a policy person. I'm not a military history expert. It just stands to reason that at a certain point it had to happen. I think it could have happened a lot better, needless to say.
Yeah. And I think, the first thing that everyone likes to do, if you're on the left, you're blaming the right. If you're on the right, you're blaming the left. And like the truth of it is, like this war in particular, Afghanistan, we're talking four presidents, or I mean, sorry, at least it was what, 16 years?
Yeah.
No, more than that, 20 years.
Yeah. 20 years.
So 20 years. So
Bush,
5 4-year
Obama,
terms.
Trump,
hmm
Uncle
Yeah, I
Joe.
mean, you could argue like, okay, you going back, but like Trump. Okay, so Biden shouldn't have done what he did with the pullout. Okay, that's probably a valid argument. He is operating from his experience when he was vice president, but then Trump shouldn't have maybe put us on the path to really give us no negotiating leverage against the Taliban. And then you go back to Obama should have actually gotten us out of there. And you go back to Bush and you say, maybe if we wouldn't have gone to Iraq in the first place, which didn't need to be gone to, and you would have applied those resources, like those troop numbers from
Yeah.
2001. And, like, I don't know if you looked at troop numbers in Afghanistan, but like, dude, we went to Iraq there were several 100,000 troops there.
Yeah.
And during the whole, like, the main fight in Iraq from like basically 03 all the way until after the surge, there was like less than 5,000 troops in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I know. It's just small
It's like,
numbers.
It's a continual. And then I was a political economist by trade. Now I type things on computers. But it's the same thing that they teach you in wrestling class when they teach you a double leg takedown. Extension is a waste of power.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's like, I mean, political leaders, I don't tell me they don't freaking know that, because everyone knows that, because you can look at history. And then not even to even add in the Afghanistan part. Afghanistan is where empires go to die. And there's like 6 or 8 empires that have not fallen because of it, but
been sent packing. Yeah.
Yes, been sent packing, like wasted a lot of resources. And so, here we are. And it's I think that's one of the also what I would consider a difficult thing.
Yeah.
Is you can't just point your finger at one person and say it's this person's fault. I mean, obviously the current president is going to take a lot of the heat for it. His approval ratings already went down, but that doesn't really help anything, does it?
Yeah, it's still happening. It's still happening, right now. So it's
still
like
people dying.
But the thing about people service is like, everyone who went there, you did your job. You did your job. No one person or one unit was meant to win the war. So
it's true. And the mission itself was, I mean, as far as anyone other than the top political and like these top decision makers, Congress, generals, as far as everyone else knew, everything was, I mean, it was a just mission, right?
Yeah.
Not Operation Just Cause, but,
right.
Just mission.
Well, the thing about it, dude, what really gets me now is seeing these Taliban fucks, like, sporting like M16s, riding around Humvees, wearing flags and Kevlars. I'm peace, love, and happiness, like kind of guy. Try to be as zen as possible, but that makes me want to just go fucking stack bodies. Like,
dude, it was
seriously.
The same thing with ISIS. Like that makes me, oh, absolutely, yeah.
Just fucking pump lead into people nonstop, as fast as possible to as many people as possible who need it. And I know it's easy for a lot of people to talk shit, be like, yeah, I'd go over there and fucking kick their ass, but bro.
You mean the Gravy Seals?
Yeah, the Gravy Seals. That's funny. Yeah, the same crowd that's like, I would have joined, but I never could have let a drill instructor talk to me. I would have knocked him out.
Exactly.
Like those kind of fucking, heroes. But no, I'd gladly go back and just fucking pump lead into people, like without a second thought. And I know that I can say that because it's like when you've been deployed, it's a different ball game.
Mhm.
But seeing that happen, man, and just being here helpless, like, well, I guess I'll go to work again. Like, um, not as not as helpful. Well, it doesn't feel as helpful. It feels more helpless, at least in that situation. But
Yeah. I think that's also, I mean, think about it, like the number of folks who are still there, as far as like Marines, like military personnel
yeah,
who are
my old
able
unit, one
to
eight.
help this. But it's not that there's not that many folks out there who are actually in a position where they can help. And
Yeah,
you look at the number of people who have deployed over all the years into Iraq and Afghanistan. And even those who like served and supported the mission,
yeah,
nobody wants to see this shit, but especially like dudes that you were, like interpreters and shit that you were
that's
in.
rough. Yeah,
Yeah. Like, yeah,
yeah.
dude.
I
I
think
mean,
about my interpreter, man. Like, guy we had, Sammy, dude, fucking cool guy, really cool guy. What I loved having him with us. He almost started crying when we left. He looked like he was crying. Because we had gone through Fallujah together, with him, and
yeah.
solid fucking dude. And then we just kind of passed him off to a new unit. It's like, well, good luck. And felt like shit about that. And I don't think he ever got out. He's probably got smoked. So it's like,
Damn.
yeah,
And how
it's
do you
like,
even find who, like, how would you even find that guy? I mean,
yeah, it's like, like asking about, hey, I have this one friend in the United States. His name's Bob. It's like, how many fucking Samirs are in like Iraq? Hundreds, thousands.
yeah,
Like how many, like, you might as well be named fucking Muhammad, and try to find that guy too.
yeah.
So,
That's
you know,
or like Vladimir in Russia or something. I need to find a Von. They're like, oh, okay.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, here's our list of 5 million of them
Yeah, yeah.
in one city. Yeah.
What's helped though is talking to other vets, and I've seen that firsthand. It's just talking to people like we're doing now, getting it off your chest,
Mhm.
and knowing there's other people who feel similar, if not the same, but are having strong feelings. Like for work, I've hosted a forum, going to have another one of just vets being able to talk about it. Whatever their feelings are, keeping
That's
it
good. Yeah.
apolitical as possible.
Yes. Yeah.
You
I
know,
think that's important, especially in the current climate. Like, dude,
I don't
oh,
think, I think it's okay to be political when you talk about this, but like in my context for the work I'm doing, like keeping it apolitical or non-political, um,
not
is,
to be
is
hippie about it, but you got to keep it a safe space, right?
just keep a safe
Like,
space, bro.
we got to keep this a super safe space, guys. And like,
Dude, I've
you know,
seen it. I've seen people in a very different context, and in a lot of different contexts, like, um, go off fucking flame wars, left versus right. And it's like, cool. Well, what are we getting done here? What are we
it's
getting
true.
done here?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Like nothing, nothing.
nothing.
And
Now,
I want to add some. We talk about this, and this is definitely different from the mental health thing, but this is bringing kind of some tech world shit into like,
yeah,
you can't install a switch in a customer's environment without that scope changing from the initial, you know, like the initial project summary. And being that that is kind of human nature, like you're talking like some really basic task that you could have between two groups of people. You're talking in this point, two for-profit companies and the employees that work at those two companies. You can't accomplish a small mission, which is the configuration of a switch in a new environment that, I mean, really could take less than a day without somehow some expectations not being met or someone having their expectations growing. Oh, well, aren't you going to remove the old switch or something like that? Right. And you think about that we've been at war with millions of people who have gone to that war, millions of moving parts for 20 years. Like,
yep,
it's completely understandable that scope creep would happen. And it's understandable that, like, all of the people who went may have had different expectations from the people who were directing things.
yep.
and on both sides. And it's unfortunate, but I think you're right. Like the only way you can deal with it is to kind of, deal with it. Don't let it fester. Like I've been in a rough state like since this stuff was going on, and it didn't really equate to me because I'm not around other vets. I'm like probably the only Marine vet in this country. I don't know. It would not surprise me.
What
So
else?
I hadn't really been even thinking about it, how that
It's
might
like
be
you
affecting
and
me.
like 6 dudes at the embassy, right?
Exactly. And they're like 12.
Yeah,
One of them went
exactly.
to a stand-up show I was doing out here, and I was like, oh yeah, I spent some time in the Marine Corps. And he was like, what? And I was just like, dude, I looked out in the audience and it looked like he could be my kid, And I was just like, dude, like,
Yeah.
and he's probably like a sergeant or something. He had to be on like MSG, I'm guessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have some Marines come through, but they're not many vets, It's all like
Good
young
point.
kids, and then they'll do a mew and come up through and be like, because I know one of the there's this dude who was planning on doing a career. You know how that happens. Like you talk to someone, they're like a private, and they're like, yeah, man, I want to do 20, right?
Yeah.
So I ran into this dude, did a show with him. He's an Estonian guy, and he's like, they can do their conscription, or they can like kind of upgrade to active duty, and then they make a career of it. And it's more like special forces for the Estonian forces.
I see.
And the only thing, like, so then I saw the guy like a year later, and he was talking about smoking a lot of weed. And I was like, well, I'm guessing he decided not to stick around. And then he told me that he trained with like a bunch of Marines out here. They were training him. And he said like this Marine captain could not get over the fact that all of the Estonian troops knew how to drive stick shift. Like it was something he's like, he'd look over at the guy and be like, wait, really? You all drive stick shifts? That was like the one thing he remembers from training with the Marines. It's like, oh yeah, they had really nice equipment, and yeah, they all trained with. Like they were really surprised that we drive stick shift because they have like these old vehicles that gotta be able to drive stick or manual, they call it.
Yeah.
And we got like even Humvees were not stick shift. I don't know if like we're 7 tons and that kind of thing.
Fuck,
I don't know. I think they made them all
riding in the
manual.
back, spit and dip out the side. So I don't know the inner workings of a 7-ton.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually driven inside of one. Now that you
Pissing in
mention it.
bottles. Yeah, that was
Throwing
fun.
them
Yeah,
on the
throwing
side.
them on the side of the highway, littering the countryside.
Yep. Especially if you're driving through New Jersey.
Yeah.
I hate New Jersey. Turnpike. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm glad that you're actively able to support people in this time, because it's no joke, dude. It's a rough time.
Yeah, it's okay to be hurting, man. For everybody, it's okay to be hurting. I think that, like you said, man, letting that shit fester is not a good move. I think reaching out to at least one person and just having a basic conversation, like, this thing's kind of fucked up, right? Yeah. Okay. Even that is way better than just holding it all inside and carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, man.
Yeah. I think you're right. Well, I know you're right. I don't know, dude. I've been feeling like a lot of emotions so this is weird, but you got to keep in mind, I am raising my kid in a pandemic. So this is like the first time raising a kid. But me going to this spa with a bunch of fucking coworkers this week was like, for 2.5 days was the longest I ever had to be away from my kid.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be a year soon, and never haven't left him. We don't have any grandparents to give him to,
Yeah.
And who are you going to trust? Some Ukrainians with your kid? Hell no. I'm just kidding. Did I ever tell you that thing that happened with my brother, where I was like on the phone with him?
No.
And my wife is, from Belarus. And so we had our 2 Ukrainian friends were at our house. And I FaceTime, and, my brother calls me on FaceTime, and he's like, hey man, how's it going? And I was like, oh, I'm good. We're just hanging out with these guys and the Ukrainians. And my brother goes, Rich, can you call them that? I was like, damn, that's America right now. Can you call them that? Yes. It's like saying Americans.
Yes.
But yeah, I just wouldn't trust it but like, I'm thinking about people who, had to like say bye to their kid and then leave for 6, 8, 14, 15
Oh
months.
my God. I can't
And then,
imagine that.
yeah, or like to have them. I mean, I feel bad when I miss a couple days or,
Yeah.
when I'm at work and I miss him taking like, he went from 2 to like 5 steps or something. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, and these guys missing for like 7, 15 months. And then it really hit home with this one of these guys who was
Oh,
killed in
yeah.
that bomb. Like his wife was expecting a kid soon,
Yeah.
and it's heartbreaking.
Fucking devastating, man. Yeah. I've worked with a Gold Star family before, not for my job. So, but through Ironman, and guy by the name of Josh Kynock. I didn't know him when I was alive, but he came back on like a Red Cross kind of emergency leave to see his daughter be born, and went back and was like killed a month later. So it's always rough. And then but even for people coming back, sometimes it's like, hi, I'm your dad, or hi, I'm your mom, and they're like, they've been away for a year and they show up and it looks like it's stranger to this kid. I have no idea.
Yeah,
So I can't
dude,
imagine that, man. So I have a whole new level of respect for people with families who had to deploy.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I used to take duty sometimes for the married guys on the weekend. Like I'd swap them something. And someone like was like, dude, I don't understand why you do that. It's fucking bullshit. They're doing the same thing we are, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, that person's married and they have a kid. Like I always noted that, like I had a little bit of empathy, but now that I have a kid, it's like a whole different level of empathy. You know what I mean? Like
Whole
even
different.
just if you're sitting there and chilling with your kid watching TV or something, or whatever, playing with them on the floor, I don't know, it's a different experience than, like if I'm at the barracks getting drunk and trying to sleep with like one of the 5 girls who lives at the barracks.
Yeah. Or for me, like pissing off the second or third deck of the catwalk, and the dude, he's like, hey, who's pissing off the side of the catwalk? Who the fuck is that? And like running, hiding super quietly so they don't know which room it is.
Oh,
and you can easily just go in your room and just piss right there, but like, nah, let's piss off the side.
And never off the first deck. It's always off the second or third. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh man. In French Creek, we were out kind of, it was dark, man. It wasn't like, like the main side ones. There were lights around. It seemed to me anyway. Like yes. I visited a buddy who was up near like headquarters and stuff. But in French Creek, man, it was like wild time. Just like pissing off the side of the catwalk. Like I also did that, but I usually got caught. So
time honored tradition in the Marine Corps. I'm sure there's like Civil War Marines, pissing off the side of some wooden ship, like just.
And the guys who are manning the cannons below, like, hey, what the hell are you doing up there?
Exactly. I do declare. Oh man. Yeah. So pissing off the catwalks.
Camp Lejeune, man.
Approved by this podcast.
Yes, we approve of pissing off catwalks, not of being stationed at Camp Lejeune.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, it ain't your fault, but
dude, did you ever drink dip spit, by the way?
Accidentally a couple times.
I would be surprised if anyone did that on purpose, except if it was like, well, no, I wouldn't actually
paid for it. Yeah, like
exactly.
I could see someone being like, oh yeah, dude, I'll give you $10 if you can drink everyone's dip spit. Like,
I've been like almost throwing up just thinking about that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a rough thing. Because I think the worst part about drinking dip spit, it's hopefully it's your own. So that's just not as bad. Or else, I'm throwing up even thinking about it. Thinking about throwing up. But the worst part about it is not that you're drinking like a liquid that you swallow and you're like, oh, that's not good. But it's all spit, so it like slides down your throat super slow. Yeah, dude, it's rough. Fucking rough.
For some reason, after you said that, I really wanted to make a callback to like the Vegas porn, like AVN Awards with Cisco Live going on at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
Yeah, man.
Dude, I actually almost like, well, not almost. I remember this one time I was sitting in my barracks room, like watching fucking war movies, drinking beer and like smoking cigarettes and stuff, like a fucking complete loser by myself. And I remember at a certain point, I reached down for one of these beers and I just slam it. And I end up swallowing like 2 or 3, cigarette butts. They get like lodged in my throat and like the ash is going down too. I'm like, oh, bro.
That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, so I've drank in both dip and cigarettes. So
Damn, that's when you switch to Coronas. So you got the clear bottle, and then with dip, then the way you solve that is switching to like, I don't know, Mountain Dew or something. So it doesn't, because if you're drinking Coke, that's really easy to accidentally.
yeah. If only I was that smart when I was a full blown functional alcoholic, practicing alcoholic. Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, it's not so much of a thing, dude. I remember like after I stopped drinking, just going through like different drawers, like looking for stuff, and like randomly I'd find all these dip cans that I'd like squirreled away, like under a couch or like in my cowboy boots or like in the closet somewhere, like hidden in a jacket pocket. I found like 6 or 7. I'll probably find a couple more dip cans that I've like hidden away, before this is all over. But I think I found most of them by now. They'd be like dried ass, like Copenhagen or Skull. Oh,
yeah. I think, I did that with some cigarettes at one point because I quit smoking cigarettes. That's
congrats,
good,
man.
I guess. Thanks. Like I fucking nas zdrovies, right? Nas no longer hacking up along, but like, dude. I don't know. I'm just picturing Stephen King's office. Did you ever hear about what he was like before he quit? Like he wasn't like a booze and weed or booze and tobacco guy. He was a booze and cocaine guy.
Oh, no shit.
Which is, I wonder why if that's why he has his like nose the way it is. But yeah, he was, and so he wrote some memoir. It was in one of his writing books, and he was like, yeah, I wrote a book called The Tommy Knockers about something that would come down, make your nose bleed, and take over your brain. And then I quit drinking, cleared out my office, and found like bags and bags of like bloody like Kleenex, and like whiskey bottles. And he's like, I wonder why. Like, Jesus. No, man, I think I'm going to do sober September and potentially drive it into October. It's like, nah, like it's not like I'm doing anything nutso, right? I don't drive here.
Yeah.
Not doing anything crazy, but I definitely think that it would enhance my life if I were to not drink quite as much.
Yeah, it definitely improves things. I'd have let a dog in just then, but no, it definitely improves the time and the quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
But I would go for better sleep. Like even if it just means that I sleep better, like I think I'd be down. So, and then my gym is now like, I can see it from here. It's like 500 meters away.
Yeah.
Half a click. So I should be taking my ass to that freaking gym. But instead I'll be like, no, I'm going to play some video games.
Oh, bro. Yeah. Sometimes I just look at, my bike or, like think about going to the pool and just not go. But recently I've gotten on a little streak. So I'm going to keep that going for sure. It's every single fucking time I feel better. Every single time.
Good. Yeah.
So I just tell myself now what's working is, okay, it might suck for the first 10 minutes, but just do that. Just do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but my buddy Carlos used to say about like jujitsu, and I think, did you ever watch Modern Family?
Like once.
Okay. Do you know the old guy dad? He was Al Bundy on Married with Children,
of course.
that actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Al Bundy, sorry, I just dropped an F-bomb that was completely useless. But he is a jiu-jitsu black belt, this dude. And he got it when he was in his like 50s or 60s. And someone asked him, like, how did you do it? And he's like, well, I just got through the door every day. Like his goal for success was literally to walk through the front door.
I like that.
And it's like you walk through the front door and then it's like, all right, well, you know what? I might as well at least warm up with them, and then before you know it, you're doing drills and learning technique, and then you roll a little bit at the end. It's not as painful. It's like
Exactly.
the painful thing is just getting there and doing the thing.
Rich, just like we used to say, just do shit. Fuck.
Yeah, just do shit. Fuck, man.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we still need to make those keychains, bro. I think they do
Yeah,
well.
just do shit. Fuck.
WW.
Especially because now it seems like it's more acceptable.
What to say? Fuck.
Like just like there's ever since there's that book that was released called like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just like F***. It's like, dude, you're not hiding that from, even like my kid could probably know what that means. And then I was going through this audiobook like site the other day, and it was like how to unfuck your boundaries, how to unfuck your clutter,
Oh, yeah,
how to
I've read
unfuck
those.
your whatever. Like, yeah, and it's just like acceptable now.
Yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want. So I think in summary for today,
Just do shit, fuck, talk to your buddies.
Just do shit, fuck, talk to your buddies. Don't drink your dip spit or cigarettes.
And I don't know, if you're thinking about working out or something or talking to someone, just do shit, fuck.
Just do shit, fuck.
There you go.
Other than that, man, I think, drink water.
Meditate.
Kill
buddies.
Kill. All right, everyone, that'll do it for this week of Transitions from War. Go ahead and subscribe to the show, follow it. Find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can email me, mike@transitionsfromwar.com with any questions or ideas for the show. And please send the show to people you know who might need to listen to it. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes if you get a chance. And just thanks for listening. All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.